How are the backbenchers, the traditional Conservative Party, how are they feeling about what Nadhim Zahawi had to say?
Well, I'll tell you what, Nigel, they were very dispirited at the start of this week. However, midway through this week, something happened that changed their minds. And I was speaking to one rebellious Conservative MP this morning who told me that he now believes that if a vote were to be brought on vaccine passports in September, the government would lose it. And this is because just 2 days ago, the Liberal Democrats decided that they would oppose vaccine passports. And not long after that, the Labour Party, a big surprise to a lot of people, the Labour Party decided that they would oppose vaccine passports too, meaning that there's a real chance that the government could be defeated. I can tell you tonight that 43 Conservative MPs have signed up to Big Brother Watch, a campaigning organisation, pro-privacy campaign, that 43 Conservative MPs have signed up to their campaign to prevent vaccine passports. And of course, 43 Conservative MPs would wipe out the Conservative majority of 80, because all you need is 40 MPs to change their vote, to vote to the other side, to wipe out that 80-seat majority.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And suddenly, I mean, Labour, who throughout the pandemic have sort of said, well, let's do even more than the government, let's be even more cautious than the government. This shift of position from Keir Starmer, what's behind that? Is this purely political? Is it Sir Keir, sharpening up his political credentials?
Well, there's been a lot of criticism over Sir Keir, but he seems to have a bit of a spring in his step after the Labour Party managed to narrowly retain that Batley and Spence seat in the by-election. Well, potentially this is the Labour Party being more political. We know that they hold a whole host of contradictory positions. They're in favour of mandatory masks on trains, but no masks in nightclubs, which they think should open, but should open without vaccine passports, but with tests. I mean, it's a complete mess, the Labour Party positioning, but to some extent that doesn't matter, because all they want to do is embarrass the government. And if the government loses a vote on vaccine passports, guess what? The headline is not going to be the Labour Party has contradictory positions. The headline will be the Prime Minister loses the vote.
Absolutely.
That's the gamble the Labour Party appears to be taking.
No, absolutely. Tom Harwood, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And there we are, 43 Conservative MPs saying very clearly that they will rebel against the government on vaccine passports. And I suspect that most of them actually really do mean it, and will stay with that position. So perhaps the Labour Party suddenly becoming a bit cannier and realising that basically copying everything the government says gives them no profile whatsoever.